Sound coming through now, Nero 42. Here we go. We're actually getting it reading. Ooh, hello. Sorry about that. Ah, OBS decided to boot me out of Yes, kitten. Say hello. This is Lily. She is a menace. Oh. So what I was saying, whilst I finish dealing with my coffee, she is just this cat has just laid herself across my thigh, so top notch. Um, Deviant the Ren. Ugh. So, starting again. My name is Liam. You can find me at Rampant Wombat across Twitter and Instagram. Uh, at the moment, we are with the Chronicles of Darkness. We are having, I believe, a bonus set of stuff on Crossroads content. I'm not entirely sure. I've been a bit out of it, recovering from uni stuff. But regardless, we are I'm coming to you from Lutruwita, Tasmania. Just want to acknowledge the Palawa elders, past, present, and emerging, whose land this is, whose sovereignty was never ceded. Thank you, Nightbot. You're so helpful. Now, Deviant. Deviant is a game fundamentally about revenge, about taking vengeance upon those who wronged you. It is about stepping into the network of pain that surrounds you and engaging with it in a way that slowly uncovers more and more elements, bringing it to light. This, as I've said a couple of times, this isn't exactly my preferred game, but it's not a bad game. It's well researched, it's a bit mechanically crunchy, and it gets its mood, it gets its theme right. This mood of a revenge tragedy. Now, due to small scheduling issues, I expected myself to be on an hour later than what I am. So, if there are particular things that people would like to talk about in regards to Deviant, more than happy to do so. This will be mostly homebrew because the law of Deviant is pretty simple. You were human, or at least to start with, and you were altered through the divergence, a shattering of your soul where supernatural power poured into you and something changed. Hello, kitten. So, if you're in chat and you have any requests, more than happy to go through it. If you don't, we will just play with something that I came to with a friend this week, which is mapping Deviant into a Tasmanian, Australian specific setting. I just have to alter my Twitter posts to make it clear that I am actually on now. So yeah, chat, if you have any requests, let's go for it. If not, we'll play in Tassie. Tassie boys. Alright. default name, we're just going to go yes, hello kitten. Good heavens. So needy. Alright, let's jump to here. Alright. So this setting that I'm jokingly calling Tassie Boys. Using Obsidian for all of this because I quite like Obsidian. And Obsidian is really good for Deviant because unlike other programs where you kind of have to do your own social map or networking, Obsidian does it for you with this neat little graph view. But jumping back, basic ideas of this setting. We've already been building a little bit of a game style with this. So let's... Last time we were on, we did a full conspiracy build called the Lightless Flame, completely ripping off the Magnus archives. We're going to alter this to being the Chimera Cult. The Chimera Cult in Tasmania is a group creating deviants for the specific purposes of fighting a spiritual entity known as Ragio Rapa. Ragio Rapa in in Palawa, Tasmanian Aboriginal folklore, was the spirit of the night, the spirit of the dark, this dark creature and entity that came to consume people. Could only be beaten back by two things: fire and a small white frog that sat on its tongue and directed it. So, that's the setting. If we jump to graph view, you can see it's already starting to network things in for us, which really helps in doing all this, doing Deviant, because Deviant requires a network of pain to really function. Small points along a thread that eventually come to an end conclusion on who is actually calling the shots. Now, with the Chimera Cult in Tasmania, we have this Greek sort of theme, so we're going to be playing into this Greek revenge tragedy. My gosh, my cat is needy this morning. Good heavens. Such a precious baby. We discovered that there was a possum outside last night, and that had been upsetting her, so she's a little bit of a cuddly bug. So, the key group standing against the Chimera Cult, because the Chimera Cult has seeped itself throughout Tasmania. The key group fighting them are the Bellefonds Compact, a nationwide group of hunters. Let's get some of these notes out. In getting these notes out, these tell us and help us organise the setting just that little bit more. Give us just that little bit more workability. Groups. So, Bellefonte Compact, Chimera Cult, and excuse you, and it doesn't affect the social map. Really cute. So you've got these groups floating about, and we'll fill out the Bellefonte Compact in our Hunter the Vigil streams, which will be coming next month. Now, fleshing out these groups. We have a Werewolf Pack. Which is a Forsaken pack that know that know that the Chimera Cult are fighting Rapa. So with these groups, we already have this small network forming of how the deviants, when they escape from the Chimera Cult, are actually going to behave, how they can actually interact with everything. As always, if you guys in chat have any ideas, you're more than welcome to post them. I'll try to weave them in, because even in streams, I like to treat this as a cooperative process. Now, let's take a look at these. Okay. Chimera Cult. So using the Cult of the Lightless Flame that we used last time as a base, I'm going to quickly alter a few things about it, just to make it that little bit more sensible. And at least easy for me to understand. So, if you're used to Chronicles of Darkness, you will be used to these, some of these constructs, such as principles. If you're used to the Mystery Cult Initiation merit, principles simply function as your doctrines. They are the things that are guiding this organization towards their ends. The heck is this? Okay. That is certainly some music. So this is not a nice group of individuals. they are all about destruction, rebirth, and pain, causing the most pain they can. In a Tasmanian setting, this is particularly not just kind of pertinent, but also very thematic. Tasmania has gone through one of the worst genocides in recorded memory, an entire culture that is in such a state that it is hard to fully understand what they are going through, particularly, if we're not in that spot. Um, so, having this cult be themed around destruction itself plays very well into kind of the overall theme of the island. Now, we're gonna alter the attributes a little bit, decreasing power and increasing finesse. Power in this case is the raw ability of a group to get things done, their ability to wield what they have to devastating ability. Finesse is their ability to manipulate, to dexterously use what they've got, and resistance is their ability to hold out against all things. A group that is high on power is brutal. Brute force, very simple, very crude. A group that is high in finesse is very manipulative, very coercive. And a group high in resistance, like this one, is one that will just keep going and going and going, and you can't stop them. You can't even see them. How will you prevent them from achieving their ends? They will simply outlast you. This Chimera cult is a high society cult. Something that is based in lots of money. So they're going to be based in the north of Tasmania. To fight. Base in high society started by William Gibson. William Gibson was a farmer here in the north of the state where I am presently. A very wealthy farmer, Baptist, not quite the same sort of Baptist as exists in America, but Gibson started the Chimera cult, to fight against teeming spirits of the Palawa people. We're gonna. Deviant is a set of stories that is very easy to tie to the history of a place, which is what this is intended to do. This setting is all about the history in many ways. Now, goal to defeat Rayurapa. Their origin is within high society. They've got a bunch of nodes. Hierarchical nodes are the brains of the organization. Exploitative nodes are the ability to gain resources. Temporal nodes are the uh, raw material holdings and power, and structural nodes are the logistical positions. We'll probably adjust these as we go throughout everything. But we are going to alter just this one, just the temporal holdings, and put in exploitative. Their temporal holdings are going to be various farms around north of Tasmania. Exploitative nodes are going to be connections to various, let's spell well, various Protestant churches. Baptists. State. So, hello again, kid. These nodes show us how the organization, how the Chimera cult is going to affect the world. They're going to change how everything is seen. Yeah. Now, hello, disappointment, Chan. Have you disappointed anyone today? We're just going through building Tasmania, effectively, as always. Excellent. Well, at least you're living up to your name. Looking at how to build a cult that is going to be the key driving force behind the setting that we're building, not just for Deviant, but probably for Werewolf and Vampire. The land of two-headed people, yes. Well, you know what they say, two heads are better than one. I was probably going to go somewhere with that. Now, I'm just bouncing through the Deviant book to find the standing settings. So, we're just going to buff the standing of this to 5, because they're local but ubiquitous, they infect multiple elements, and will alter how that looks. Now, with the Chimera cult done, we can look at the deviants they've made. Deviant notes. So, as always, the book has a heap of stuff to be able to help you. Quick character creation is here, as are the natures of the divergences. Yeah, Tassie is it's very tied to its history. I think is the best way to put it. Disappointment Chan. Tassie is very focused on its maintaining its history and making it look good, despite the fact that a lot of it is actually terrible. Um, Good example with this setting is we're playing heavily into the themes of the genocide that took place here during um, uh, what was it? I don't want to say colonization, but that's probably the best way to put it. Yeah. Um, so because there is this genocidal theme going on, as well as um, historically Tasmania was convict settlement, particularly down south. You have a very strong um, sense that there is hurt, there are wounds that stretch back 200 years that have never actually been healed. They've just been covered over. Um, and that is very much in the blood of and in the water of Tasmania. The wounds of our past has not been dealt with. And that's where that's where Deviant can play really, really well. Deviant is all about the wounds of your past, the scars that are sitting beneath the surface that are just going to alter you, change you, and harm you. So, Deviants. You have 5 origins, 5 clades, and a bunch of forms. Uh, White Australia policy days, wasn't it? So the White Australia policy didn't affect, as far as I'm aware, wasn't a big thing in Tassie because nobody wanted to be here in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. Most people don't want to be here now. It's just how it is. Given that you're from the mainland, ugh, I honestly don't know how much it affected us down here. Um, but for us, it was the 1830s to 60s was the big kind of pain, 30 years of pain and suffering in Tassie, and then they tried to alter it and fix it, and it didn't really work. Mirror by the cult to enact to attack the spirit ridden. Dirty, dirty mainlanders indeed. Coming over here, driving up property prices. That's not true. You guys didn't do that. We did that. Greedy, greedy people. So, primary clades. Not a worry. That's actually probably in part me as well with the lag. Um, Simply because my headphones die, so I was listening to some music. Alright, primary origins of for this group. We just want to select a few one or two that are the key things that this group goes to get for deviant volunteers or deviant prey. So you have the elect, those who wanted to deviate to become something beyond human, the epimorphs, those who were conceived or pressed into deviating from the norm, the exomorphs, the unwilling, changed by someone else's intentions, genotypal, those who were born, and pathological, those who were twisted by accident. So what we're going to slap on is we want the epimorphs as, you know, these could be family members of those who have been affected by Spirit Ridden and the spirits of Ragiorapa. These can be those who were pressed into deviating. They can be the people that are trying their hardest just to make a life. Something terrible happens, and then there is this change, there is this deviation. Now, listen, Disappointment Check. As someone who is technically a dirty East Coaster, we don't take your money. That would be wrong. That would be theft. We just want you to be our mate, our friend, so that you can help us. You know, you do have all that beautiful mining money that we need. The other primary origin we're going to go for with this is the genotypal. As Disappointment Chan has said, Tasmania does actually have this really weird relationship to its past, and loves to play along family lines and play along uh, who we are. Who we are is built into our blood. So having a genotypal or an organisation that is focused on tracking bloodlines is hilariously funny in that, if you ask me. Now, primary clades, which are the primary points of supernatural power. Let's see if I can add any more awful P sounds to this. So you have things. You have these five. Cephalists are those who reshape. Psychics. Chimerics are those who are genetically spliced with humans and other creatures. Coactive, those that are infused with a power greater than themselves. Invasives or cyborgs, those who are gained power through devices. And mutants, genetic hybrids and mutations of deviants. For this organization, they want to use the hybrids of the chimerics because it's the chimera cult. We're going to use the chimerics and the infused. These are, whereas chimerics are those that are deliberately altered with animal characteristics, the infused in this situation may be those who are bathed in a trough of spiritual essence, and so they take on the qualities of the essence, and they are infused by it. Kitten, please, please. I know you don't like this, but you're being a pest. primary forms, we're just going to give one form, and that is a... What the heck? I've got... My notes are terrible. Let's take a look at the book. Forms. Amalgam. So primary form is amalgam, and this form is a separate creature bound into the deviant through the divergence. They were once separate, now they are conjoined. We cannot. I do not know how to ban first-time viewer Corteva, but whatever. So this is the basic stock of the deviants that we're going to build from and build into our story with Tasmania. So yeah, that's pretty much it. You can't really go much further than that, then unless you have players around, in my opinion. You can plan out a lot more, sure, but if you spend all of your time planning, you eventually come to a point where your players just cannot interact with the world. Will they buy you? I don't know. Honestly, disappointment, Chan. I think if they purchase you, you would have to come out to the East Coast. So I'm sorry, I don't think it's worth it. So all this is going on. Over the next few weeks, we'll fill out what the Bellefonds compact is for Hunter. But let's add in a few general notes about Tassie. Districts 1, North West Coast. And we want key spiritual problems. We are already tying because of how I was talking about this with my mate. We're tying this pretty heavily to the Hissil, to the spirit world that is most discussed in Werewolf the Forsaken. So after Hunter, we'll jump to Werewolf. The Hissil in Australia needs a little bit of I believe the Hissil in Australia should be this have a sense of being hyper aggressive with a few key courts or choirs. In the case of Tasmania, we want the Fire Court. With more influence during high summer. Don't have to care about that. Other key choirs are Beast Courts, key choirs, Beast choirs, choirs of animals and former clan family totems that have gone rogue have become more aggressive because of the destruction by European colonization. So fire choir, beast choirs. We also want star choirs, presided over by Moyni. The reason that we're going in that direction is because Moyanina is or Moyani is a entity within Palawa storytelling who fell from the heavens, crashing into Tasmania, and was killed by his brother Dromedina out at Cox's Bight. There's this beautiful story that you can find online. Search Moyani or Moyanina and Dromedina. But we want the star choirs because the Aboriginal Australians had this very complex and well-developed star map. So having that as a part of how see you later, disappointment charm. We'll probably wrap up pretty soon anyway. There was a small scheduling error, so 45 minutes seems like the go. Yeah, so these three choirs are probably enough to be able to play around with, particularly when you add in human influence things. And these are the key groups that are these choirs are the key agents of Rocky Orapa and enemies of the Chimera cult. Wham bam, thank you ma'am. We have a story. Our story is focused on Spirit Ridden, so we'll probably discuss that a little bit next time, because there's great lore on the Spirit Ridden. And we'll discuss what it is that they are doing across Tasmania, what Tasmania is like because of them, and the nodes that the Chimera cult has to fight against them, and why the deviants are possibly even the bad guys in this sort of world. It's quite reasonable to view them as such. Alright, I've got a few things to do today, gang. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate the follows and the company. I will see you all in about a fortnight's time, where we will be discussing Hunter the Vigil and how the Belafon Compact here in Tasmania is fighting the Chimera cult. Have a good one.